President Uhuru Kenyatta sent the whole country into a frenzy when he announced measures to rein in on spending and also cut expenditure. Now, one of the recommendations was to create a budget office which he would personally oversee in an effort to keep a lid on public spending. But in a turn of events, analysts are now raising questions about the president's directive, saying they could be in contravention of the Constitution. Adelaide Changola tells us more.
For years, this has been the picture that has graced our screens every second Thursday of June. That of the Treasury Secretary holding the briefcase containing the government's expenditure plans for the coming fiscal year. But that could soon change as President Uhuru Kenyatta unveiled a raft of proposals meant to put a cap on the runaway government expenditure and cut corruption in state agencies.
Today I have tasked the Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service to design an Office of Management and Budget under the Presidency. The Presidency will produce a President's budget working with the Parliamentary Budget Office, and this will ensure that we drive priorities, oversight, and reduce influence peddling in budgeting while ministries and departments concentrate on implementation and service delivery.
According to the president, the move had been necessitated by the need to separate budgeting from execution and implementation so as to remove unnecessary public spending on non-essential goods and services and spare taxpayers the burden of higher taxes.
So basically what he's telling people in Treasury, I don't trust you anymore to actually execute what I think, and therefore I will bring this office for the purposes of management and oversight of spending specifically within my office.
But Kwame Owino from the Institute of Economic Affairs reckons the proposals raises pertinent questions that need clarification before the directive can legally be enforced.
So yes, there's a legal problem about whether he can actually shoehorn the executive and other branches of government, including the counties. So that obviously is dicey constitutional, and I think he needs to think about it. It probably is illegal.
The Economist points out that the creation of another budget office outside Treasury is likely to breach the Constitution, since only the Treasury Secretary has authority to handle budgetary matters and present the same to Parliament.
So whoever exists and manages the Office of Management and Budget may have other oversight functions as the President may wish to give, but they do not have the right of audience with Parliament as the Cabinet Secretary would. So that too is something to consider, because the Cabinet Secretary's power or privilege to present the budget to Parliament is actually constitutionally protected. Yeah.
Moreover, the combination of shortage of skilled manpower and the timing of the directive means the President will face an uphill task creating adequate capacity in the Office of Management and Budget.
The constitutional question does exist. I mean, there are people who could challenge whether the Constitution actually allows the President to do that today, because the Public Finance Management Act and the Constitution Chapter 12, which talks about public finance, did not envisage the Office of Management and Budget, which the President is bringing up. So obviously, if it's going to come in through a law, I think first it would have to come in through a law, not necessarily by a presidential directive.
But even as the President works out the kinks on his proposals, IEA insists there are already easier, faster, cheaper, and already established avenues in place that can allow the President to oversee the budgetary function without having to usurp the powers delegated to the Treasury Secretary and creating extra layers of bureaucracy.
To do this, there's no reason why the if-miss mechanism should not be available. One link should not be available for the President to do the kind of oversight work that he wants to do today. There is no reason why that should not happen. And
Adelaide Changole, KTN Business.
If you just left